So for your squats, always got to make sure you've got that set up in the rack correctly. So you want to try and find a comfortable height. So it's usually about shoulder height or just slightly below. So when you're underneath it, you're able to then actually come up and control it. Because if it's up too high, like here, you've got to try and get it over your rack, right? But make sure it's not off-centered. So be pretty particular with that. Right. You generally are right in the center of the bar. Yep. Hands will be wherever is comfortable for you. It depends on your restrictions through your chest and your shoulders and your lats as to whether you have a closer or wider grip there. Okay, if you have like shoulder impingements where it's not allowing you to get your arm up, you'll need to work on that sort of thing, because that's obviously...
I've seen that with people, they've said they can't do back squats because they can't hold the bar.
Yep, so you'd work on being able to open up through that pec and up into the anterior delt too. So trying to get more of that rotation out.
So they could get to that point.
They can get to it, depending on their issues that is putting them there in that first place. And then you want it resting along the upper traps as well. You don't want it on the base of the neck, it's the upper traps that you actually want that bar resting on. You come under, you find your comfortable position. So that's there on my upper traps, but if I move here, that's now sitting on the base of my neck, to which you'll feel that when it's on the base of the neck, you'll feel it because it sits on that knobbly part of your bone, and it's not a comfortable position, especially when you have a lot of weight, let alone any weight at all. So set your hands up, come through, make sure your feet are nice and balanced underneath you before you come out, and adjust your feet. You're working with whatever your anatomical differences are. You might be over shoulder width, you might be inside of that. Keep your back up tall, hips go back first, down to that parallel point. If you can squat down to the ground with good form, you can go there. Keep those knees out towards your little toes, and you come up tall. So what you should find is the way you go down is the same way you go up. So if I go down, my hips are gone here, but as I'm coming up, see how they shoot back? That's all through my lower back, and I also felt that in my left knee, right knee. So here, I come down, straight line up and down. See, my knees always go out towards my little toe, so I'm imagining like I'm trying to screw my feet into the ground. And I'm controlling that at all phases of the movement. It's not dropping and then trying to engage to go through. I pull myself to the ground and I push myself away from the ground. So I'm pulling down. You can see the control in each of those phases. So you've come out, you finished your squat in, and it's safely racked. Obviously too, you'd have your safety arms out, or put this the other way in, so we've got the actual built-in safety arms to use. Being it's nice and light for today and you're practicing on technique, you can get away with not doing that. Now if they can't back squat, you can go into your front squat position. So all sort of fairly essentially the same, but you've got to have the ability through your triceps and your lats to be able to get those elbows up. So you come in, so it rests almost like it's on the collarbones. It's still here in my hands, nice setup on the feet. Same process. I pull myself to the ground and I push away from the ground. See?
It looks so weird on the wrist. Like
It's just sitting there.
yeah.
Yep, so you can cross the arms. You find what is comfortable. So you're absolutely right, you can cross your arms. You find what is comfortable for the person. That might be uncomfortable for a lot of people, depending on...
I feel like your wrists go back really far more than other people.
It's years of doing certain things in the gym that will allow my wrist to open up like that. So work between the two variations there. So your back squat and your front squat. Have someone spotting with you as well. So if you're spotting, you're just behind them with your hands ready to get under their armpits, and you go down with them and you come up with them. So you're sort of a little distance away. That way you can help them if they get stuck.
So you lift them, not away.
Yeah, you get under their armpits and help them up, because it's safer for them to stay hanging on to because they've got a grip, to then be able to assist them, not push, assist them back into the rack. But generally, going with that, if you're using those, you just let them dump it. That's what they're there for. So you should, if you're using a decent weight and not practicing technique like we are, you'd have all this on the other side here. You come down, you go, no, I can't lift this. You just dump it, let it go. That's what this is here for. So if you're training on your own, especially, that's what you should be using. That way you avoid injuries.